Am I the asshole for calmly calling my brother-in-law a self-loathing piece of shit at Thanksgiving dinner after years of jokes about my brother? I, 27F, have a brother-in-law, 32M, for as long as I've known him, has made constant jokes comparing himself to my younger brother, 22M. My brother is finishing up pre-med and, from the outside, looks like he has his life together. My brother-in-law works part-time while trying to launch different business ideas, and that gap has clearly been a sore spot for him. Every comment is brushed off as humor. Everyone laughs awkwardly and moves on. No one ever actually addresses it. This happened over Thanksgiving weekend at a family dinner. I'd already had a long, emotionally draining day before we even sat down to eat. I was tired, hungry, and honestly running on fumes. I just wanted to get through dinner without drama. Halfway through the meal, he made another comment, something along the lines of, "At this point, I should just let your brother run my life since he's clearly got everything figured out." The usual forced chuckles followed. Something in me just kind of snapped. I didn't raise my voice or anything like that, and without missing a beat said, calmly, "You're a self-loathing piece of shit, and it's exhausting listening to you project your issues onto my brother every time we're together." There was silence. Dead silence. I kept eating and I did not engage further. My sister immediately said I was rude and completely out of line. She said he only makes those comments because he's struggling, that he works part-time while trying to get a business off the ground, and that it's hard for him watching my brother finish pre-med and have his life sorted out. The rest of the night was uncomfortable. No one defended him, but no one defended me either. Afterward, my younger brother came to me privately and said thank you. He told me he appreciated it, but that he'd honestly gotten used to the comments at this point and just learned to tune them out. That part made me feel even worse, realizing he'd been quietly carrying that discomfort for years. Now my family is still upset with me. They say I ruined Thanksgiving, embarrassed my sister, and that I should apologize just to keep the peace. I'm being told I was cruel and that I should have shown more compassion. I know the words I used were harsh, I know the timing was bad, but I'm also tired of pretending it's okay. Am I the asshole? Commenter 1. Your brother-in-law is masking his insecurities with jokes. Grown man, by the way. OP. It frustrates me even more starting comparing himself when my brother was 20, and I feel terrible for not doing more for him even though I'm not always around. Commenter 2. Everyone else is enabling him, and it's making him even more self-conscious of his lack of progress all the time. Share the load with your brother, not the asshole. Yeah, I completely agree. You're definitely not the asshole here. Someone has to tell him when enough is enough, okay? Like, the first time, okay, maybe I get it, he's just throwing it back at someone. But it gets to a point where you're just hating and you're just jealous. It's really the saying, they hate us because they ain't us, bruh. I mean, that's really all it is. And it's gotta stop because that hatred and jealousy is only going to spiral and create more issues in the future. If there's not issues already, with your brother just basically lying down and taking it, which, I mean, there's not much you can do to preserve, the peace in your family because, you know, that's it. Like, your sister in law has to do something about it, I think. Or not your sister in law, your sister. But she's not. Like, she doesn't even think it's a big deal. And she thinks you should apologize. Like, that is very self centered as well. But let's get into the update and see if we can turn things around for them because right now it's not looking too good for the sister and the brother-in-law. But to be honest, it's not looking good for the whole family because her parents are telling her to apologize too. So who knows? Update. 2 days later. I honestly didn't think I'd have anything major to update, but here I am. For some context, my sister and I are not super close. No bad blood, just very different lives. We love each other, but we don't really have deep conversations or emotional heart to hearts. That matters because all of this hit me harder once I realized how much I didn't know. So, after the Thanksgiving situation, a lot came out that I genuinely had no clue about. It turns out my brother in law has had some abusive tendencies for years. Nothing physical, at least from what anyone knows, but definitely emotional and definitely controlling. Enough that my sister had a pretty bad scare early in their relationship. She confided in my mom back then, and this was around their 1 year mark, but begged her not to tell anyone or make a scene because she was terrified it would make everything worse. My parents, at the risk of pushing her away completely, backed off and decided keeping the peace was safer for her. Fast forward to now, and suddenly the years of tiptoeing around him, their insistence that I just apologize, their obsession with keeping the peace all makes sense. They weren't protecting him, they were trying to protect her, and I guess they were right to be worried. After my comment at dinner, apparently he completely lost it after he went out drinking a few days later. He drank a lot, got furious with my sister for letting her family embarrass him, and ended up breaking a bunch of things around their place. Nothing physical towards her, again, from what we know, but enough to seriously terrify her. She ended up calling my parents in the middle of the night asking them to please come get her. She's at their house right now. According to my brother, she's still in shock, barely talking, and they genuinely don't know if she's going back to him. My parents are trying to keep things calm and focus on her safety, but I think this might be the first time she's letting herself acknowledge how bad it's gotten. My parents are focused on keeping things stable for her sake. My mom is devastated she's been carrying this in silence for so long, and my dad is in full protective mode. My brother said he hopes this is the moment she finally steps away for good. I'll be going over after my shift at work tonight with some takeout and junk food, comfort food overload, just to sit with her, keep her company, and try to cheer her up a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing heavy, just letting her know she isn't alone. I have no idea what's going to happen next, but right now, the priority is making sure my sister is safe and supported no matter what she chooses going forward. Commenter. You know what? You speaking up and out is a blessing in disguise. She would have continued to suffer in silence, and it would have been a heck of a lot worse if there were children involved. May your family greet the New Year's in steadier and sturdy legs. May you find and make wonderful memories that will bring you and yours joy and brighten your days. Best wishes. Commenter 2. I hope she stays away from him. The average number of attempts to leave an abusive man is 7, so don't give up on her if he cons her back. Signed, OP, or the commenter. I only left twice, but it still took me 9 years. Damn. I mean, this is just the type of update that you never want to hear. But it's the type of update that happens so often and I read so often that I almost don't feel anything. And that seems weird and that seems like I'm just a very non-empathetic person and I don't have any emotions and I'm a robot. But I've seen it so many times. Like it's just this pattern of sad things that happen. Like someone finally says something and we reveal that their brother-in-law is secretly abusive emotionally and, her sister's been bearing it all by herself because she feels like she can't talk to anyone or it will get worse. And it sucks. But I'm so glad she said something, and I'm so glad that the OP finally said something to the brother-in-law. And fuck, dude. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I mean, it's just one of those things where there's not much I can say other than I'm glad that it went this way, and I hope that it continues going in a positive direction for the OP's sister. Whereas, she can get out of there and go back to being a normal human being. Because from what I've heard, she's basically walking on thin ice around this guy, and that's not a relationship at all. If anything, that's just torture. Not really, but you know what I mean. Anyways, that's it for this story. I hate that everyone on Reddit just fucking sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.